then for the each courses you need to the error and then take the sum. So that is something called the sum of the square error. So now how it is defined in case of the k-mean, as the output of a clustering approach is a set of clusters. Okay, that is C1, C2, Ck. So let's say k be the cluster. Actually in k-mean, k is the number of clusters that should be provided by the users. And then how the SSE is defined? SSE is the sum of the square error. So what is that error? Error is defined as xi minus xj. Please note that this is a clustering approach and this is the unsupervised approach. So you won't have the right. There is nothing called the training set. So you cannot get the actual value while doing the clustering approach. So then what it is essentially it is done is what is the actual value in the clusters, and xj is the mean of the clusters. That means whenever you take the set of points, you form a group and you take the mean. So then how far ideally what we say is okay, how many students are in their class, or say okay, what is the average CGPA. So very often this average term is used to represent the entire distribution of the data. So that is why his average has so much important. So that is something key. See, if we have a group of students, what is the average CGPA? Similarly, you have a set of points within a group of points, then what is the average value of the point? So that is something called XJ, and that is commonly known as the centroid of the clusters. And then centroid is the best way to represent a group of points. So any point deviate from the centroid is considered as the error. So here that is the error. Okay. And then what is you take the squared error. So that is the square. Error is considered as a Euclidean distance. So xi minus xj, and then you take the Euclidean norm and then make it square. Okay. So and for the entire point in a data set, that is not sufficient. You do for the all clusters. So therefore there are two sums, and that is something called the sum of the square error. Okay. Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is the title of the slide now?
The
The
K means
K-mean
cluster.
clustering, McQueen 1967.
So then how we'll proceed this to find the minimum SSE? How do we proceed? First, you select the K points as the initial centroid. So you pick K arbitrary point from the distribution. Then what you do it, repeat this step. Form K cluster by assigning each point to its closest centroid. Recompute the centroid of each clusters. And you repeat this one until the centroid do not change. Then what happened? You have a set of points and then you need to form the clusters. And then how many clusters you should form, that should be given input as input. So that is the value of K. Select K point as the initial centroid. Okay. Then for next, repeat. Form K cluster by assigning each point to its closest centroid. So what you do it, you have the K cluster, and then what you do it, from each point to this K cluster, you compute the distance in the similar fashion of earlier what is called is basic sequential algorithm scheme. And then wherever the distance is minimum, you assign the point to the corresponding clusters. So the first step is exactly the same as BSAS. Okay, but BSAS was some threshold distance, but here you don't have any threshold. So you compute the distance from the point to the all clusters, and wherever the distance is minimum, you assign the point to the closest clusters. Because so in BSAS is the number of initial point was not selected, but came in initial number of points of number of clusters are fixed. So whatever the points is coming, if it is far away from the closest point, that also you assign to the closest clusters. Okay. And once you form the cluster, what you do again, you recompute the centroid, because now new points come into the each cluster. Earlier, see, you select the K clusters. K cluster means each cluster will have only a single point. Now you assign the points to the closest cluster. So essentially you will have the many points in a single cluster. And then again you compute the centroid. How do you compute the centroid? You compute the average of the points. Okay. And you keep on doing this part until or unless successive iteration there is no change in the centroid. So every time what you will see it, there will be change of the centroid value and the point centroid will move to the much denser region of the points. Okay. Do you have any doubt? Do you have any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So we'll show one example here in the next slide. Let's say you have a set of points 2, 4, 10, 12, 3, 20. So this is a single dimensional point. So that means it has only one component. Okay. Now you want to apply K-mean clustering with K equal to 2. Okay. So then what do we have to do? And then for simplicity, what we do it? We'll compute the L1 distance. L1 distance is nothing but the only absolute differences. Sum of the absolute difference, but there is only one component, so therefore only sum of, only the absolute difference. Now initially you consider the first 2 points of the clusters. Okay. So initial centroid are considered as 2 and 4. Then what you have to do? So now you consider 2 and 4 are the clusters, and now you compute the distance from each point to these two set of two centroid, and then wherever the distance is minimum, you assign to the point to the corresponding centroid. So now initial centroid is 2, 4, and then you start from the first point. So distance from 2 to 2 is 0, distance from 2 to 4 is 2. You are taking absolute distance, let's say. Then distance 0 is closer, so you assign 2 to this centroid. So then centroid has a point that is 2. Okay. So now if you do this one for the 4 is also will be assigned to the centroid 4. Okay. So now you do for the 10 points. So distance from 10 to 2 is 8. Distance from 10 to 4 is 6. So closer is 6. Similarly, 12 also will be closer point will be 4, 3. Distance from 3 to 2 is 1 and 3 to 4 is 1. So wherever distance is same, so what you can do it, we can arbitrarily assign the point to any one of the clusters. So for in this example, we assign the point to the centroid 2. Rest of the point also obviously it will be assigned to the centroid 4. So here we go. So C1 will have the point 2 and 3 and C2 will have the all set of points. Here in this example, we have considered the L2 distance. However, we can test with L1. We are now checking with L1. Now what you have to do, once you assign the point to the individual cluster, what you do, you take the average. What is the average in 2 and 3? It will be 2.5 and you take the average of this set of points. Okay. So that is because it is a single dimensional point. So simply what you can do, you can add and then divided by the number of points. Here we go. So if you take the average of these 2 points, so it will be 2.5. So now if you take the average of this point, so it will be 16. So these are nothing but the centroid of the first centroid C1 and this is the centroid of the second cluster that is C2. Now what you do it, again now you consider these are the centroid. You compute distance from 2 to 2.5 and 2 to 16. Wherever the minimum, you assign the point to this corresponding centroid. Similarly, 4 to 2.5, 4 to 6. So that is obviously it will be far. So that is now the points 2 and 4 will be assigned to MC1. 10 from 10 to 2.5 and 10 to 6. So the distance will be here will be much closer. So the 10 onwards all points except 3 will be assigned to centroid centroid 2 and all other points will be assigned to MC1. Sorry, C1. So next iteration, what we see? C1 is 2, 3, 4 and C2 will be the all points 10, 12, 20, 30, 11, 25. Now you take the average of this set of points. Average will be 18 and this average will be 3. Again you do the same thing. What do? You compute the distance from 2 to 3, that is 1, and then 2 to 18, obviously 2 will be assigned to this set of points, 3 also will be assigned here, 4 also will be assigned this part. 10 to 8, what is the distance? 10 to 8 is 8 and 10 to 3 is 7. So therefore 10 must be assigned with centroid C1. So therefore 2, 3, 4, 10 will be assigned to centroid C1. However, 12 to 8 is 6, 3 to 12 is 9. So therefore 12 will be assigned to this one. So we see here. C1 will be assigned 2, 3, 4, 10. C2 will be assigned with rest of the point. Okay. Now again you take the average of this set of points. So average of this set of points will be 4.75 and C2 will be 19.6. Again you start computing all the distance 2, 3, 4, 10. Obviously it will be assigned to MC1. Now so let's say 12. What is the distance between 12 and 19.6? So 12 will be 7.6. What is the distance here is? So it will be lesser than this distance. So it will be what? 7.25. So this is 7.6. So therefore 12 must be assigned to cluster C1. So let's see here. Yes, 12 is assigned to the cluster C1. Obviously, if it is 12 assigned, so lesser than 12 also will be assigned. So now you have a set of points here, and here you have a set of points here. Now you compute again the mean. So mean will be 7, and this mean will be 25. Again, you start computing the distance from 2 to 7, 7 to 725. 12. So all points you compute distance, and wherever it is lesser distance, you assign the point to either C1 and C2. In the next step, what you see is there is no change of the centroid assignment of the points to the centroid. Wherever is this one will remain same. So whatever the average this one, so in the next step average will be remain same. So therefore there won't be any change. So that means we will reach the algorithm is converged, and that is the final output of the k-mean. Okay. So then k-mean final output is out of this set of points. If you get the two clusters, so 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12 will form a clusters, and other it will form a other clusters. If you start with the initial centroid is 2 and 4. Do you have any doubt? Do you have any doubt? Do you have any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
What does it mean by square root? So it has several points, say x1, x2, so let's say x10. It has 10 points. So what is the best way to represent these 10 points? With one point is 10 points can be represented by only a single point is like if you take the average of those points. So that's something called the error. Because we are assuming that each, that is a group, can be represented by a centroid. And now any point deviate from the centroid, so that is something called the error. So that is something called the error. And if you take the square of the error, so that is something called the square error. So this is something called the. Can you hear me? And you have to do for the all points.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. Audible.
We will compute the error means we will compute the distance from the point. So suppose you have a cluster here. This is centroid. Okay. So this is centroid. And you have a point, so let's say x1, you have a point x2, you may have a point x10 and so on. So you compute this distance. You can compute this distance, so that is the Euclidean distance. And if you take the square, so that is something called the square error. And you do for the all points here within a cluster. It is not only that, again you go move to the second cluster and you do the same. So that is something called the sum of the all square error. So this is square error first for a single point. So what is xj? Xj is nothing but the centroid. So you take the average of the all points. And this representer, if they give the Euclidean distance and you take the square. So therefore this is the square. So squared Euclidean distance. And you do for the I equal to 1 to xcj. Cj is the number of points in the cluster. You do for the first cluster. Once you are done, then you move to the second cluster. So for you do for same thing for the each cluster and you sum up. So that is something called sum of the square error. So what we do it here, we are assuming we have the k number of cluster, we compute the sum of the square error, and we have to find such k wherever you will get the minimum SSE value. That means you should have multiple clustering. So this is one clustering. So you have multiple clustering, and out of this clustering, whichever give the SSE value minimum, you will choose that is the final output of the k-mean cluster. Okay. So how do you achieve this target? So target is we have to minimize the sum of the square error for the k number of clusters. How do you achieve next? Here. This is something called the k-mean clustering. It's a McQueen clustering algorithm. So it is again reproduced in 1981. Okay. So here we try to understand how it works. So select k point as the initial centroid because we need to form the k cluster and then we compute the SSE value.
Yes.
So then initially we choose the k point. So you have a data set, let's say x1, x2 to x10. So let's say k equal to 3. And k always is represented of case in German. Okay. So k equal to 3. That means you choose the 3 arbitrary points from the data set. Select k point as the initial centroid. So you have a cluster, let's say with x1 and another cluster with x8, another cluster.
మొబైల్ తో కనెక్ట్ చేసే నెట్ మొబైల్ అవ్వట్లేదు
So just by assigning each point to its closest center. Now we compute the distance from each point to the each centroid because we are considering this is a centroid, this is another centroid, this is another centroid. So you compute the distance from x1 to x1, compute the distance from x1 to x8, compute the distance from x1 to x9. Wherever is the minimum distance, you assign that point to the corresponding cluster. Let's say x1 to x1 obviously 0 distance. So this is, so for no other cluster can have the lesser than 0 value. So this is point is assigned x1. Now you move to the point x2. Now we compute distance from x2 to x1. Compute distance from x2 to x8 because x8 is the centroid. Now you compute distance from x2 to x9, and wherever the distance is minimum, that means that x2 is the closest to that particular point, either x1 or x2 to x9. You assign those points x2. Let's say x2 is assigned to the first point x2. Okay. So therefore, so in this cluster you have the 2 points. One is x1, another is x2. But which one is centroid? This is the centroid. Here x8 is x9. Then you move to the point x3. You have to assign each point to one of the 3 clusters. Then you move to the point x4 and you assign the point to the closest cluster. Okay. So then all 10 points will be assigned somehow in any one of the point. If there is a tie, you assign arbitrarily to any one of the centroid. Now you move to the next line, that is recompute the centroid of each cluster. So once you got the point x1, x2, x3, let's say x5, here you got x3, here you got x10 or so on. So all 10 points are assigned to one of the clusters. Now recompute the centroid of each cluster. How do you recompute? So now you have 3 points, you compute the centroid. That means you take the average of the point, you will get centroid, here you will get centroid, here you will get the centroid. Now centroid will change. Okay. Now what you do it, and you repeat this step. That means again recompute the centroid. Centroid is different. Earlier centroid was x1, now this is a new centroid. Earlier centroid was, this will be the new centroid. Earlier centroid was x9, this will be the new centroid here. So centroid earlier was x1, now it is new. Earlier was x8, this is new. If changes happen between these 2 consecutive iteration, that is, if there is a change in centroid, it is not the same point becoming centroid in the next iteration, then what you have to do? You have to recompute it. You have to do the same thing. What is that? Again, you take the all 10 points here and you assign to each point to the closest centroid cluster. And you keep for the all 10 points here. Again, recompute the centroid and you check whether earlier centroid and now after recomputation it is the centroid is same for across the cluster. If it is same, then you stop it. If it is not, then again you have to do the same thing. So after few iteration, you'll find that there is no change in the centroid. So if there is no change of the centroid, then cluster membership also will not change. If you assign the all points, so it will be assigned to the same centroid. And that is because it is converged, so that will be my final output. So final output will be a flat clustering or a single clustering. So let's say pi. That is why it is called final output is a single clustering. That is why it is called the partitional cluster. So here I would like to mention 2 points here. How do you compute the average? Because the point x1 can be a vector. So how do you compute the vector average? So you have to take the dimension wise, you have to add and divide it by the number of points. So one example here. Let's say this is the point. Let's say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Let's say this point is 1, 1. And this point is, let's say, 2, 2. Okay. So another point is somewhere here. Okay. 1.5 and 1.5. Okay. So this is, let's say, A, this is B, and this is C. So what will be the average? So what will be the centroid if this become a cluster? What will be the centroid? How do we compute the centroid of this cluster? So centroid of this cluster, let's say C1 will be 1 plus 1.5 plus 2 divided by 3, 1 plus 1.5 plus 2 divided by 3. So this will be the centroid, because we are adding 5 points and output also will be a point which is a vector. So each point is a vector here. So this is the way you should compute the centroid. So if it is a single dimension, so single dimension means what? This is the point here. So this is 0, so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, and so on. Now you have a set of points, so let's say this is 0.5, this is 1.5, so this is, let's say, 2.5, it is forming a single cluster. So what will be the average? You add 0.5, 1.5, 2 to 4.5 divided by 3. So that will be the centroid of this cluster, because this is having single dimension. If you have a multiple dimension, you add those dimension wise and divided by the number of points. Now we'll show one simple example how the K-mean works. Still, if anyone is having doubt, I think it should be clear after this slide. Let's say you have the data set and it is a single dimensional data set. That means you have no 2D, only single D, 1D data. So each point is not a vector, each point is a scalar. And we are considering, for simplicity, we will compute the distance is L1 distance. When we need to compute the distances from the point to the centroid, we generally compute the Euclidean distance. And then based on that, we are saying you assign the points to the closest centroid. So while computing the closeness, we will compute the L1 distance instead of L2 distance. You can go with the L2 also. But in this example, we only compute the L1 distance for the sake of simplicity. Okay. So now you have the data set here and K value is 2. Okay. So what is the first step? You take K value is 2, you take arbitrarily 2 points as the centroid. So initial centroid as 2 and 4. So now you have a cluster C1, centroid 2, and C2, centroid 4. Now what is the next step? You move back if you forget. This is first step is done. What is the next step? Form K clusters by assigning each point to its closest centroid. Now you take this point and compute the distance from 2 to first centroid and second centroid. So distance from 2 to 2 is 0, 2 to 4 obviously greater than 0. So then point 2 will be assigned to cluster C1. Okay. So then C1 is having 2 and its centroid is this one 2, and C2 is having centroid 4. Now you go to the distance, next point 4. You compute the distance 2 to 4, L1 distance, say simply absolute value. So this will be 2, and this is for C1, and another is for 4 minus 4. So this is 0. So obviously that is the point. So 4 will be assigned here. So you have a cluster 4. Next, you go to the point 10. So 10 will be closer to 2 or 10 will be closer to 4. Obviously it will be closer to 4. Okay. So then 10 will be assigned to the second cluster. Similarly, 12 will be assigned to the second cluster.
3, 3, 2 minus 3 and 4 minus 3. So it is equidistant. So arbitrarily you assign any one of the cluster. Let's say I assign the cluster C1 is 2 and 3, whereas C2 is having 4, 10, 12, 20, 30, 11 and 25. Okay. Now what is the next step? After assigning this one, next step is recompute the centroid of the each cluster. So basically we can write somewhere. One test number 2 is recomputation. Recomputation of centroids. And first one you can say is the assignment. Assignment of points. So this is the 2-step only. So now you compute the centroid. So what will be the centroid for the first cluster? 2 plus 3 divided by number of points, because it is single dimension. So it will be centroid for C1 will be 2.5. And what will be the centroid for C2? 4 plus 10, 14 plus 12, 14 plus 12, 26, 26 plus 20, 46, 46 plus 30, 76, 76 plus 11, 87, 87 plus 25, so 112. Divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. Divided by 7. So how much it will come? 16. 16. Okay. So that centroid will be first this one and second this one. Next, what is the next step? Next step is you have to check is there any change of centroid. Earlier centroid was 2 and 4. Now centroid is different. So centroid change. So therefore what you have to do? You have to again 2-step algorithm. First is assignment. Second is recomputation. Recomputation of centroid. So again you have to start the assignment. So you start the assignment to the each cluster. This is C1 and this is C2. C1 is centroid, this one, C2 centroid is this one. Okay. So the point was 2, 4, then 10, 12, 3, something like that, 20, 30, and so on. So you assign the point to the closest centroid. Now this is 16. And then 4. The point 4 will be assigned to the first cluster. So cluster C1, obviously it will be 2, 3, 4. And 10 and 2.5. So 10, 16. So obviously 10 onwards, all points will be assigned to the second cluster. So therefore C2 will be 10, 12, 20, 30, 11 and 25. So assignment is done. Now what you have to do? Recompute the centroid. So recompute the centroid. So this is one cluster, this is another cluster. So 2 plus 3 plus 4. So centroid will be 3.0. And then this one centroid is you add 10 plus 12, 22 plus 20, 42 plus 30, 72 plus 11, 72 plus 25. So divided by 1, 2, 5, 6, divided by 6. So you'll get the 18. Earlier centroid was 2.5 and 16. So now centroid is different. So you have to go again. So what is the first step? First step is the assignment. Second step is recomputation. So now again you assign the point. Obviously these 3 points will be close to 3. So therefore in C1 will be 2, 3, 4. Now 10, 3, 7 and 10 to 18. So obviously these 10 point will come here. Similarly 11 to 18, 7, 11 to 3, so 8. So therefore C2 will be 12, 20, 30, 11, 25. Okay. So 2, 3, 4, 10 and 12, 20, 30, 11, 25 will be another cluster. Now what is the second step? Recompute the centroid. So centroid is recomputed. Earlier centroid was 3 and 18. Centroid was 3 and 18. So it is different. So you have to go to the next step. What is the first step? It is the assignment of the points. So now it is moved to the 19.6. So now you subtract 4 and 4.75, 19.6. So 12 will come here. Obviously 11 also will come here. Okay. So you move here. So first cluster 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12 and second is 20, 30, 25. So this is the 7 and this is 25. Earlier was 4.7, 2.5, so 4.75 and 19 point something, right? 19.6. So it is different. So again you have to assign the points. So if you assign the points, so next assignment will remain same here, and then therefore centroid also will be remain same. So there is no change of the centroid. So therefore algorithm is converged. But we have shown with simple one-dimensional example. So what will be the complexity, time complexity? Let's say you have the data set D. You have n points and k number of cluster. What will be the complexity? What are you doing here? First, for each point, you are computing the distance from each point to the each centroid. So there are n points. And how many centroid? K centroid. So you are computing this many distance for a single iteration. And if you have I number of iteration, okay, so you are computing those many of distance. And each distance computation, what is the complexity for each distance computation? Suppose you have a point x1, another point x2. So if you compute the equivalent distance, what you are doing? Each dimension wise, you are taking the square. So how do you compute the distance from x1, x2? Square root of x1 minus x first dimension, x2 first dimension square plus x1 second dimension minus x2 second dimension and so on, right? So if you have the d dimension, so you'll have the d term. So into d. And the dimension is much smaller with compared to the number of points. So d is neglected. So the complexity is I into n into k. And number of iteration, it is found after 5 to 6 iteration, it generally convert. So that is a constant also. So this is a small number. So complexity can be said order of nk. And k value is also very small with compared to the number of points. So it is come down to here order of n. So therefore this complexity is called is linear time complexity algorithm. So this is the time and space complexity. Space complexity, we are assuming that everything will be in min memory, including the points. See, one point must be noted here. When you got a cluster here, when you compute the centroid, that centroid may not be the points from the data set. It can be the new points because we are taking the mean of the few points. That may not be the point from the data set. So then what do you do it? First assignment is implement k-mean clustering. You implement the k-mean clustering without using any library function. And data set, you find UCI machine learning data set. Second assignment is implement k-mean using library function and verify the results you obtained in your approach. Second assignment is k-mean using any and verify how do you verify results? K values remain same for each cases. So submit the assignment by next week.
Okay, so you heard that video. Hello.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the same video is uploaded, so you can, if you have a doubt, you can go through. I don't think you will have any doubt after this one. So it has some drawback, that is for k-mean. So it cannot detect outlier. It can find only convex shape clusters. It is applicable to only numeric data. This is very important. So this algorithm is applicable only to numeric data because each time, say, you need to find the mean. So you cannot compute mean for categorical data. Let's say for if it is ordinal data, okay. So you ordinal or any categorical data, okay. So you cannot compute the numeric, you cannot compute the mean. So therefore, this algorithm is only applicable for the numeric data. And because we take the squared error, so therefore this algorithm is applicable only if the data set is convex shape clusters. Okay. So therefore, it cannot find the arbitrary shape clusters. You cannot find the from the data set. Okay. So I stop this class here. So in the next class, we will talk about there is something called bisecting k-mean and rest of the part of the k-mean clustering on next class. Okay. And by the way, I can take what is called class test and any day. Okay. So be prepared. I will communicate you just before one day before that. I am going to take the test next day. Okay. Test will be alternative type, and you will get say for 20-minute question you will get maximum of 30 minutes. So for 20 marks question you will get maximum of 30 minutes. Okay.
Sir, what kind of question, like subjective or MCQ?
It will be MCQ, but you need to solve the problem and then you need to answer. It will be multiple choice question. Okay.
Okay.
Okay then.